referred to himself as a transition candidate. He also said back then that he would be a bridge to the next generation of Democratic leaders. Does he still believe that?
As you are no doubt well aware, Biden is old. He's old. And I remember distinctly when he ran for president the first time, we all voted for him not because we had overwhelming love for him and his policies, but because we needed to get the Nazi out of office. And he claimed that he was going to be a temporary bridge to the next generation of Democratic leadership at the time. And yet, here he is, running again for president, making our only two choices, just two grumpy old men who argue on national television about who has the better golf game. It's like an SNL bit that's just too on the nose to be funny. And after the presidential debate, which I'm sure we all saw at least snippets of what we could bear to watch, it's become clear that there are some founded concerns about Biden's age and mental capacity and ability to successfully become president again. Even the DNC had a moment of, maybe we backed the wrong horse on this one. But like most elderly white men in this country, Biden is charging forward with determination and blindness.
Yes, I mean, I think his statement stands. I mean, one of the reasons why he picked the vice president, President Kamala Harris, is because she is indeed the future of the party.
The transition would happen in 8 years.
I mean,
not 4.
I'm not going to get into speculation from here. But you ask me if his remarks and statement still stands. Yes, it still does.
The statements that I'm a temporary bridge to the new leadership of younger people still stands after I get my second term as president, and only because I can't run for a third term as president. After that, because I legally can't go any further, then the young people can take over, those whippersnappers, but not until then because daddy needs 4 more years. There's been so much concern, in fact, about his running for president again this year after the presidential debate, that he had to address the public with a written statement about how he wasn't going anywhere and he was the best person to run. Literally saying this was a process open to anyone who wanted to run. Only 3 people chose to challenge me. The audacity of him to say that when there were people in various states who tried to run and were thwarted based on technicalities by the DNC because they really just wanted Biden to be the nominee is astounding. He goes on to say, do we now just say this process didn't matter, that the voters don't have a say? My guy, the voters are speaking. They have things to say, which is why you had to write the statement, which, let's be honest, he did not write this. The voters are saying they want you to step down, and you are not listening. Not to mention, this doesn't only affect the presidential nominees. This affects the House and the Senate, both of which are incredibly important in the election upcoming.
It does seem like Republicans are ahead because Donald Trump is so far ahead.
What's the Senate landscape?
Yeah, what's the Senate landscape? I mean, take a look here. GOP needs just a gain of 1 for control if Trump wins, and their path is extremely clear because their best chance for a pickup opportunity is in West Virginia. That's a very likely GOP win with Joe Manchin retiring. And the best Dem pickup chance, perhaps to reverse that so the GOP doesn't gain a net gain of at least 1, is Texas. But that's still a likely GOP win. So the fact is, if Donald Trump wins this election, the race for the Senate, for all intents and purposes in my mind, is over.
If we end up with Trump as president and a Republican Senate and House, just euthanize me, please. It's not just Biden versus Trump. If Trump wins, if people are upset enough that they don't vote for Biden and Trump wins, we are very likely to lose the entire government to the Republican Party. And now this all isn't to say you should not vote for Joe Biden. We had 4 years to find a candidate. And because of the DNC's behavior, we don't have another candidate. Unless he steps down, hands it over to Kamala or someone else, he's it. And I'm not saying you shouldn't vote. You should vote. You should go out and vote and make sure that Trump does not get elected. But simultaneously, I can also complain that we were not really allowed to have another viable candidate for the Democratic Party. And for those of you saying, well, if Joe Biden is too old, then Trump is too old. Yes, you're right. And for those of you saying, well, if they're too old, then, you know, there's other people in government who are older than that. Were you saying that they shouldn't be in government? Yes. Thank you for understanding the point that I'm trying to make. All in all, these are our choices. And my complaint is we never had a chance for any other choices. When there were plenty of choices, we just weren't allowed to have them because two selfish elderly men who complain about golf on national television when they should be debating policy want more power and more time in the spotlight and more money. Can't forget about the money. If Joe Biden really actually cared about the future and what Americans want, he would step down in favor of another candidate who has a better chance, based on current polling, of defeating Donald Trump. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out some of my content that isn't news related, you can check out my personal YouTube channel at Bad Gamer Wyatt. And until then, I will see you in the next video. Thank you.